Let's start here with power rankings. Top 10. I'm going to go 10 all the way to the top. And I'll start with San Francisco. I will put the Giants. Power rankings, why not do it? We basically played about 81 games, right around the numerical halfway point. I'll take San Francisco at number 10. Now, when I do these power rankings, a lot of this has to do with tradition. A lot of this has to do with what I feel about in postseason. It's not just best records alone. That's too easy. There's got to be some intangibles in the mix. I'll put the Giants at 10. I don't think they got dominating players that can win short series. They didn't have that 2 years ago, but they're obviously very interchangeable. They got an excellent bullpen. They can mix and match pretty well. A little bit like 2 years ago, as we all know, when they won 107. Not quite as good because there's no Posey, Crawford, and Belt. But Crawford's there, but not on that level. But still a solid team, and I'm surprised they have played this well. Now, I can't put them any higher than 10. There's too many good teams, and if I started the postseason today, remember 12 teams make it, but if I started the postseason today, the Giants would have to work awfully hard to get out of the wild card round, because if they don't win the division, that's where they're headed. And I like Logan Webb, and, Alex Wood does a decent job, great the other night, and DeScalfani. I mean, I understand, but I don't think the Giants, from a standpoint of great, I'm not going to put them any higher than 10. And I'm only going to put them one spot below the Diamondbacks, who are 9. The Diamondbacks inexperienced in postseason play. They don't have a third starter, only 2 pitchers. A lot of speed, we understand that. Carroll's had a great year. Walker's hits the ball out of the ballpark. Manager knows how to maneuver with his ball club. I don't love their closing situation, as evidenced a couple nights ago with Tampa, although the kid McHugh had done a good job. I don't love their closing spot in big games either. Inexperience, I don't think the Diamondbacks really are long. Listen, they do have 2 good pitchers, so you never know, but I'm not sure who would start Game 3 or Game 4 in a divisional series, or even in the Game 3 in a wild card series. You can't put them any higher than 9 against some of these other teams. I'll leave those 2 West teams at 10 and 9. I'm going to put the Phillies at 8. They're playing very well right now. They've won 18 of 23. A lot of experience from a year ago, where obviously they, had a chance to win the whole thing. They have pretty decent pitching. Suarez has done an excellent job for them. Wheeler and Nola are what they are, with Harper and Turner and Schwarber, who hits a lot of home runs. They seem to have found their footing here. They believe in themselves. They know they can do it. Great finish last year. They won playoff games. Do I love Kimball in the bullpen? I do not. But do I think they could be dangerous, in trouble there? Yes. But I think based on pedigree, based on they're going to spend some money with the trading deadline, maybe add some components with Dombrowski, I'm going to put them currently right now at 8. And right now, they're not even in the playoffs. But currently right now, I'll put them at 8. I'll put Houston at 7. The Astros still deserve scenario here where we're in the top 10, and they got a lot of issues. Alvarez, we haven't seen in a long time. Altuve's been, he's missed really the whole first half. Pitching isn't quite as good. Some injuries. The middle relief isn't as good. Presley's fine, but the middle relief in the 8th inning hasn't been as good. Recovered the last 2 days. Good comeback win against the Cardinals 2 days ago. Buried them yesterday. They go to Texas next. They're a ways back. They're 7 or so over 500. I love the manager. They earn our respect. Back-to-back pennants. I'll put Houston right now as number 7 at the power ranking. And this is just me, and this is not based on only record this year. There's a lot of components when you do a power ranking. Anybody can take the top 10 records and put them in order. You don't do that when you're doing these kinds of things. You got to put some extra personal thoughts in it to have some fun with the list. The Orioles are 6. Last year they won 83, so they got a little taste of September baseball. They got a lot of youth, so they shouldn't get tired. They need another pitcher. And Batista worries me a little bit in a big game. I worry a little Benitez in him. He worries me a little bit in the big game. But the Orioles deserve to be here. I'd like to see what Elias will do at the deadline. He told us a couple days ago that he will add if he has to. He's prepared to give up a prospect or 2 if the right deal comes along. They've had a heck of a year. The 2 out of 3 losing to Cincinnati notwithstanding. They have decent starting pitching. It's not great, but they're resourceful. They got a good lineup. There's something about the Orioles that you like. I'm going to put them number 6. I'm going to put Texas 5. Bochy deserves a little nod there. They got a wonderful lineup. Probably the best offensive team, maybe start to finish. I know the Braves are great with all those home runs, but it's one of the best offensive teams in the sport. I don't love their bullpen, and, you know, they are short without DeGrom, a starting pitcher or two, but I do trust the owner to spend a lot of money. They spent money to get this play this far. They're in good shape to be in the postseason. They're also in very good shape not to have to play in a wild card round. All these other teams are going to have to maybe play in wild card best of threes. Texas may not have to do that because they might have the top two records in the American League. They really should. The Orioles could be, you know, they really should. I mean, if they win a division, they're going to be the second seed because of the fact that the American League Central have to play in a wild card round. But I'll pick Texas 5. I'm going to put the Dodgers 4. You know, their starting pitching, still a little shaky in certain scenarios. Their bullpen was awful for a long period of time. Their back end of that lineup is a little soft. They're very top-heavy, and I love Freeman and Betts, and Will Smith's a very good player, but still a little top-heavy offensively. They're about 10 over 500. They got a little easier schedule this week. They have the Royals this weekend in Kansas City, who are awful. They got a chance to sweep there, so maybe you would jump them to 3. They're going to make the playoffs. They have a lot of experience. Maybe they get a little something back at the end of the day out of Buehler, which is something you got to keep an eye on because he'll be back in September in a relief role. Urias comes back here soon. Kershaw's had a big year. The Dodgers have to be 4. I'm going to put the Yankees 3. I know you're going to say, Chris, really? But I'm going to put the Yankees 3. Haven't been whole. They've just won 3 series in a row. You know they're going to make the playoffs. Rondona's going to be back here before long, maybe in a week. Cortez is on his way back here, too. Judge is going to play again. You know, they don't have their second-best pitcher and their best player and maybe the second-best player in the sport after Ohtani with Judge. And they're, you know, 10 or 11 games over 500. They had a perfect game the other day with Herman. I know the Yankees haven't won a pennant in a long time. Boone in a big game is very shaky. Everybody knows that in New York. Everybody knows that in New York. He has not proved that he can manage against the big managers in a big game. That's a problem. But I will put the Yankees 3 because you got to put the Yankees somewhere. What are you going to put them behind the Diamondbacks? I'm not doing that. I'll put the Yankees 3. I'll put Tampa 2. They'd have earned it. They've had the best team. They've been the best team start to finish. They're great at home at 34-10. I'll put Tampa 2. A little concerned about Tampa. You know, they don't have that one individual great star who could carry them. It's a lot of different pieces. That's the way they're built. Bullpen is interchangeable. Maybe Fairbanks, when he's healthy, is their 9th inning closer, but he uses that bullpen too much. They could wear themselves out, which happened in the 60-game season, which happened against the Red Sox a couple of years ago. So, you know, and they didn't do anything offensively against Cleveland. They have not been a great postseason team the last 2 years, and they don't have a great play. Do they have a great player? McClanahan's a very good pitcher, but do they have a great player? On that team, can you say right now that they got a big-time player? All these other teams have great players. Betts and Freeman. Judge. Seager's a great player. He's been a World Series MVP. The Orioles, maybe with Lutchman, could be a great player. Houston's got great players. Phillies got great players. You know, is there a great player on Tampa? There is on Atlanta, and they're number 1. The Braves have plenty of great players. They hit 1,000,000 home runs. They got a tremendous amount of experience. You know, they have won many a big game. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder with what happened to them last year. They've gotten this far where they've been this tremendous without half their staff. No Wright, no Fried. They're coming back. Snitker's the perfect manager. He's calm. He's collected. I think last year losing to the Phillies will help them get adjusted to a long layoff if they have that, and they will, because they're going to win the division, and that means they're going to have another layoff while they play the wild card rounds. I think they'd be a little better adjusted. You know about their offense. It doesn't stop. Olsen's had an unbelievable home run year. They got 144 home runs, and they do have a great player in Acuna. So, I mean, when you get right down to it, I think right now, pound for pound, player for player, clubhouse culture, front office ability with Anthopoulos, who's a tremendous GM. This team is the best team in the sport. Atlanta, Tampa, Yankees, Dodgers, Texas, the Orioles, Houston, the Phillies, Diamondbacks, and the Giants. In that order, those are your top 10. A couple I left out, a couple you may not like where they sit, but I think generally speaking, that's a pretty good list.